Take this. Find them.
Hello everyone and welcome to TDR Family Gaming. I'm DroydTDR and today we're going to be talking about the 10 things to give you the best possible experience when you play Hogwarts Legacy. Number 1 is Hogwarts Legacy is an RPG game set in the Harry Potter universe, but it's 100 years or so before Harry Potter. So what this means is, first, you are not likely to meet any characters from the Harry Potter novels, other than maybe long-term characters like ghosts at Hogwarts, or maybe some familiar family names that you'll meet in some of the professors or other characters. But it'll be ancestors, 100 years before anyone in the Harry Potter stories. Also, some locations might also be familiar because those don't change a lot over time, like, of course, Hogwarts Castle, and there's likely to be Hogsmeade and maybe some other locations, Gringotts perhaps. Anyways, most importantly of this is it is an RPG, a role-playing game.
Legacy begins.
That means you can pretend to be anyone. Any character, good, bad, boy, girl, silly, serious, or anything in between. You can play the game all the way through, trying different characters, different houses, etc. So you could play this game several different times with different characters in different houses, being a total jerk or a totally wonderful hero. For me, this means that when I create a character in the beginning, I can choose who I want to pretend to be. Do I want to be someone like myself? Someone nice, kind, polite, considerate, calculating, and strategic? Do I want to be sort of a brash, impulsive jerk, play the opposite of myself? Do I want to try to react in ways that I wouldn't normally do, that would make me a little uncomfortable? What is it I want to do? And this is by far the most important thing to remember. This is a game, and there are no real-world consequences for being somebody else. You are a participant in this adventure, and you can do anything you want. Will you have a better or worse experience by making certain decisions? Who knows? But it'll be a unique experience for you, and if you play things like Dungeons and Dragons, you get the idea. You can role-play as anybody and just have a good time and enjoy it. It's kind of like being an actor in your own movie. I invite you to join me on my adventure, which will be different than yours, as I stream it almost every day, as many as I can, to progress the story. For many RPGs, I usually play the role of a silly, airheaded, stereotypically blonde Valley Girl cheerleader with affinities towards pink and purple. Why? I have no idea. It was the first thing I did during one of my first RPG video games, and it sort of stuck. So, I don't know. It's silly. It's a game. It's funny. I enjoy it. Sadly, I don't think there's going to be any houses with bright pink and purple colors, but I may have to adopt a new person for this first playthrough. We'll see. Feel free to join me in this experience as I stream it and see what happens. Who knows who I'm going to be. Number 2, this is a fairly linear story adventure, as I understand it. There will be some side quests that'll depend on your house or maybe your previous decisions, but in the end, there is a main story plot, and all characters will walk down that main plot path, though there may be slightly different outcomes along the way. Do some additional side quests, upgrade your skills, and practice your combat, or develop more potent potions, or gain skills to win beasts or plants as your allies. That's all up to you. Bust into places with your wand blazing, or stealthily sneak around and take enemies out of the picture one by one. That is all up to you. For me, an airhead will sort of stumble through and try to make things work as they go without too much pre-planning. But we'll see how it goes. Feel free to join the stream and see what happens. Number 3. This game is rated T for teen and will have some darker themes. So because it's a T for teen game, which means there will be some dark themes and or scary situations, just be ready for that. So if you aren't ready for those, perhaps you should skip this game. However, if you want to see a dad comment on whether some of these situations may or may not be appropriate for various ages, feel free to join the stream. I'm sure I'll be commenting on that as we go. Is this game appropriate for ages 5 to 10? Probably not, unless you're playing with your kids. So feel free to play or watch at your own discretion. Number 4. You should not know what's going to happen next. On your first playthrough, do not watch other people's videos of parts of the game that you haven't been to yet or haven't solved. It's like having someone tell you the whole plot of the Harry Potter books so that you feel like you don't even have to read them or watch the movies. The joy of the original books was that you didn't know what was coming up. I remember when I started this series, the 4th book hadn't even been written yet. There was a curiosity, a speculation, wonder, expectations about what would happen in the next book. And every book built that uncertainty and curiosity and excitement and speculation and wonder for the next book. What a way to ruin your own experience by watching guides and cheats on how to solve the puzzles. Remember, this is your adventure. A good game design will probably provide clues and puzzle pieces for you to figure things out on your own. So use your brain, take some notes, try some things, experiment, have fun. It's your adventure after all. What's the fun of walking through a game that somebody else has already solved for you? That said, feel free to see how other people approach different situations that you've already solved. You might get some insights and new ideas on how to do your next playthrough, or even new ways to approach situations that you haven't run into yet. Number 5. This will have typical RPG mechanics. Yes, you will have to learn fighting and combos. And yes, you will have to learn how to augment your skills and your equipment. You may even have to learn how to tame creatures or get them to work for you, or even how to craft potions. There will be skill trees and upgrades galore, and how these exactly play out, we'll have to see. But I suspect you will only get so far if you haven't done at least some upgrading and some crafting and some learning along the way. You'll probably hit a wall where you are unprepared, and you'll need to go back and get some of that stuff done. Number 6. There will be a hub. The Room of Requirement seems to be the safe place where you can brew potions, craft, care for animals, change your looks, and more. What other things you can do there, we shall see, but it's important to remember that there is a base camp where you can chill out and practice stuff or improve and upgrade your gear. Number 7. There will be fast travel. There is a flue powder network that will allow you to travel throughout the castle and other places quickly. Of course, you'll have to get there and unlock those fast travel points first, so that you can come back to them again later. Like many RPG games, this allows simplified navigation around a much larger map without the tedium of traveling the whole way back and forth every time you want to go to a different place. That's the point of these fast travel points, of course. In Harry Potter, it'll be through the flue network. This is a quality of life game mechanic, and even though it's unrealistic, it certainly is convenient. If you are ever interested in seeing how an amazing game can be made that does not have fast travel points and can still be compelling, and you do have to travel through everything, go check out Jedi Fallen Order. It's an incredible game that doesn't have the shortcuts of fast travel. Number 8. It is an open world and you can fly. Yes, you will have a broom, and you can also gain or tame some flying mounts throughout the game. So you can fly around the castle grounds and maybe even explore the countryside and beyond. However, rumor has it that you can't fly everywhere. For example, in some settings, like maybe in towns, perhaps it's a no-fly zone. And you can't swim below the surface of the lake. So if you're hoping to explore the underwater lake areas, that's not going to happen either. So while it will be a thrill to fly around, there will be some no-fly zones to keep the poignancy of the story points rooted in your own character's direct interactions with other players on the ground. Number 9. Combat. Expelliarmus. Combat in Hogwarts Legacy looks to mix fast action options like are in Batman Arkham Asylum's combat system with other third-person shooters, but all with magic and wands as the core concept. You will undoubtedly start with some core spells that you can augment as the game progresses, and some new spells that you can learn or swap into your hotbar. This should allow you to continually evolve your combat system and maybe even change from spells you love to new spells that you love even more. In fact, there will probably be certain spells that work better against some enemies than others. So experiment and practice. Since you have access to beasts, plants, and potions, these will also act as different perks to enhance your combat style and your personal preferences. It's actually getting me pretty excited to try it out as I talk about it. And yes, the unforgivable curses are also part of this world, so we will have to see how they show up in the world. Were they unforgivable even back in the 1800s? Are there restrictions on those spells back then? Can anyone learn them? Can you? Will you be able to use them? And if you can, will you? So many choices for role-playing. Would an airheaded valley girl use an unforgivable curse? I totally doubt it. Number 10. This is a personally entertaining story for you to experience. Don't rush it. Don't spoil it. If this game is designed as well as it appears to be from all the trailers and the early reports of the pre-release gameplay, this is going to be a deeply personal and engaging story in which you are the hero or heroine. So take your time. Enjoy it. It's going to be fun. Play when you have time. Don't look at guides and cheats or spoilers. Nobody wants to know what happens ahead of time when you started reading the Harry Potter books, so don't go spoil it for others, but especially don't spoil it for yourself. If you get stuck, ask your friends for help or seek out that specific solution, but don't go spoiling things beyond that. Think of it like looking up a word you don't know in the dictionary while you're reading the book. You don't have to look up every word that's coming up ahead of you, just the ones you don't know. And probably those things you get stuck on, you can probably figure out with a little bit of effort from the context of the story or the situation or the training you've had up to that point. You know, we're lucky that this game seems to promise the wizarding game that everyone has wanted for decades in the Harry Potter universe. Even if we can't play matches of Quidditch or join our friends online in potions class, this may be the closest we come to a new exciting adventure in Potterverse. And if we like it, and if we're lucky, this might be the first of many games developed for the fans, those who love this universe and want to exercise their imagination within it. Let us know in the comments below what you're most looking forward to in Hogwarts Legacy. So have fun, enjoy, and we will see you in Hogwarts Legacy.
Some abilities may be taught to you by students who become your friends. As you develop relationships with these schoolmates, they can accompany you on your journey as your companions.